Hello all, welcome to the first session of the geometry series. In this episode, we are going to talk about parallel lines, right? We saw in the math function series that when two straight lines have the same slope, they will never intersect and they will be parallel like railway tracks, right? Uh, in this diagram, line M is parallel to line N. It is denoted by this symbol here, right? Parallel lines is quite an easy topic. However, we do expect 2 to 3 questions on this subject in SAT or ACT. So it becomes important for us to understand this and not to lose those questions, right? Now, there are literally 3 or 4 things which we need to know in this area for us to be able to solve pretty much any question, right? What are those 3 things? The first thing is the straight angles. So in this diagram, let's say this is angle 1 and this is angle 2. Angle 1 and angle 2 form the straight angle pairs, and angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to 180 degrees, as we all know. So angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to 180 degrees, right? So this is the straight angle part which we need to know. Similarly, in this case, in this line, let's say this is angle 5, this is angle 8. Angle 5 plus angle 8 is equal to 180 degrees. Angle 5 plus angle 8 is equal to 180 degrees. And so on and so forth, right? So the first thing is the straight angles. Okay. Let's move on to the next part, right? The next is the vertically opposite angles. In this context, let's say this angle is angle 3. This angle is angle 4. Angle 1 and angle 3 are vertically opposite angles and they are equal. So angle 1 is equal to angle 3. They are vertically opposite angles. Vertically opposite angles. Similarly, angle 2 and angle 4 are vertically opposite angles, hence they will be equal. Angle 2 is equal to angle 4, right? So this is the second type of angles which we need to know. Vertically opposite angles, and they are equal to each other. The third thing which we need to know is the corresponding angles. So whenever there are two parallel lines which are being cut by a transversal, let's say in this case by line T, angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles, right? Angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles and they are equal because they are corresponding angles. Okay? Similarly, in this diagram, if this angle is 6, angle 2 is equal to angle 6. They are also corresponding angles because angle 2 is below the line M and to the left of T. Similarly, angle 6 is below to the line N and to the left of T. So angle 2 is equal to angle 6. Just to reiterate, right, we talked about 3 things here. The first was the straight angle, angle 1 and angle 2, or let's say angle 5 and angle 8, they are the straight angle pairs and the sum of the straight angle pairs is equal to 180 degrees. Right? That's point number 1. The second is the vertically opposite angles, wherein there are any two lines which are crossing each other. So these two angles will be equal to each other and they are vertically opposite angles. Similarly, these two angles will be equal to each other. The third point which we discussed was the corresponding angles in the context of parallel lines. Whenever there are two parallel lines being cut by a transversal, the corresponding angles will be equal. Let's use these 3 points to do some questions now. Okay, so let's go ahead with this question. Angle ABE is equal to 120 degrees. So this angle is equal to 120 degrees. Angle CBD is equal to 135 degrees. And we have to find the value of angle DBE. So we have to find this middle angle, right? Now, if you see angle ABE is 120 degrees, so the remaining of the angle EBC, right? Angle EBC would be 180 minus 120 because these two make the straight angle pairs. So angle EBC is equal to nothing but 180 degree minus 120 degrees. Correct? Again by the straight angle pair, which is equal to 60 degrees. So very clearly, immediately we are able to find that the value of this angle is 60 degrees. Why? Because we know that the total angle is 180, and if this portion is 120, so the remaining portion has to be 60 degrees, correct? With the same logic, we can find angle DBA, which will be equal to 180 degrees minus this portion. So 180 degrees minus 135 degrees, correct? Because angle DBC is given to be 135 degrees. So we can find this angle 180 degrees minus 135 degrees, which will be equal to 45 degrees. So this angle is equal to 45 degrees. Now, again using the same straight angle pair theorem, we know this portion is 45, this portion is 60 degrees, so the remaining has to be 180 minus the sum of these two, right? So angle DBE, which is what we have to find, right? This middle angle will be equal to 180 degree minus 45 degree minus 60 degrees, which is equal to 120 degrees minus 45 degrees, which is nothing but equal to 75 degrees. So the middle angle, angle DBE, is equal to 75 degrees. So we have these two lines intersecting each other at this point. This angle is angle X, this below angle is 5x minus 12, and this angle is 3y minus 8. And we have to find the value of y, right? So there are several ways of approaching this question, but the easiest one which comes to mind is that these two are the straight angle pairs. So angle X plus this angle has to be equal to 180 degrees. That will give us an equation in X, and we can solve for X. Once we know the value of X, right, this X, we know the value of this angle, because this angle would be nothing but 180 minus X, correct? Eventually we know the value of this angle, which we can equate to 3y minus 8 and solve for y. Let's see what I'm talking about here. So X plus 5x minus 12 is equal to 180 degrees, right? Because these are straight angle pairs. So 6x minus 12 is equal to 180 degrees, which gives us 6x is equal to 192 degrees, because we're doing plus 12 here and plus 12 here, dividing by 6, and you're getting the value of x as 32 degrees, right? 192 divided by 6 is 32. So we got the value of x as 32 degrees. So this angle is nothing but 32 degrees. If this angle is 32 degrees, the remaining angle would be 180 minus 32 degrees. So 180 degrees minus 32 degrees, which gives us 148 degrees. So the other side, this side is 148 degrees, which is equal to 3y minus 8, right? That's what they've given to us. So 148 degree is equal to 3y minus 8. Do plus 8 here and do plus 8 here. You get 3y is equal to 156 and y is equal to 52 degrees. This is what we are looking for. So y is equal to 52 degrees. So essentially, basically what we have done in this question is that we have used again the straight pair theorem twice. We have used it on this side to get the value of x. Once we got the value of x, we used the same theorem again to find this value, and finally got the value of y. So let's take another example quickly here. So we have two lines L and M. L is parallel to M, and this angle is 55 degrees, and this is a 90 degree angle, and this angle is x, and we have to find the value of x. Right? Okay. So if we stretch this line a little bit here, right? Line L is parallel to line M. So this angle is corresponding to this angle, right? We just saw what are corresponding angles, right? So this angle will be nothing but 55 degrees because this angle is corresponding to this angle. This was already given to us as 55. Now, when we look at these two lines intersecting each other at this point, this angle becomes vertically opposite to this angle, right? We talked about earlier that if there are two lines intersecting, then these two angles are vertically opposite and they are equal. Hence, this angle will also be 55 degrees, correct? Now, if we look into this triangle here, this angle is already 90, this is 55, so x would be 90 minus 55, which is nothing but 35. So the value of x is 35 degrees. Okay, let's quickly take a last example here. So we have this diagram like this here. AB is parallel to CD, BC is parallel to DE. This angle is given as 65 degrees, this angle is given as 68 degrees, and we have to find the value of x, right? Okay. First things first, line BC is parallel to line DE, hence this angle is corresponding to this angle. These two angles are corresponding angles because these two lines are parallel, and this is like a transversal cutting, hence this angle would also be 65 degrees, correct? Now this angle is 65 degrees and this middle angle is already given to be 68 degrees, hence we can find this bigger angle because the sum of all these three angles would be 180 degrees because they are straight angles, they form a straight angle. So let's say we have to find this angle and we call it, let's say, y. So y would be 180 minus 65 minus 68, correct? Which is equal to 180 minus 133, which is equal to 47 degrees. So angle y, this angle here is 47 degrees. Now if we see, AB is parallel to CD as well, and this is like a transversal cutting across these two parallel lines, hence angle X and angle Y are also corresponding to each other, hence angle X would be the same as angle Y, which is equal to 47. So angle X is equal to 47 degrees. Just to quickly reiterate, right, we are using the corresponding angles twice here. We use the corresponding angles for BC and DE, and hence we got this angle here as 65. Once we got this angle as 65, this one is already given to us as 68. We added both of them and subtracted that sum from 180 degrees to find the remaining y angle. But we got y as 47 degrees. Angle y is nothing but same as angle x because even line AB is parallel to CD, hence they are corresponding to each other. Hello folks, hopefully you guys liked the video and got a good perspective in terms of what are parallel lines and how do we solve questions related to the angles wherein the parallel lines are cut by the transversal and so on and so forth, right? We talked about three things mainly: the straight angles, the vertically opposite angles, and the corresponding angles, right? Now in some books and places you may see some other terms like alternate interior angles and alternate exterior angles, but those are nothing but again the derivation of the same thing. Essentially, as long as we are clear on what are corresponding angles and what are vertically opposite angles and what are straight angles, we can pretty much take any question. If you guys like the video, please do like and subscribe. See you in the next session.